Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new weekly recap here for the Pmpl Western Europe Season 2. Today, we're going to be focusing on our second week of play and especially focusing more in detail about the second Super Weekend itself to see how things have been able to move around. And talking about movement, there's been quite a few in the second Super Weekend. So we're going to look at that right now in the overall rankings, and we're going to be, of course, observing that Team Big are standing in first place with 315 points with 30 rounds played in total throughout both Super Weekends. When you think about especially the fact that they got 3 wins out of 5 games in that final day of play, Big have absolutely wreaked havoc around on the battlegrounds, and hopefully we can see if they can continue that kind of tendency in the third Super Weekend and even potentially the finals. Eastern Stars, Game Lord, a little bit of a weaker performance in the Super Weekend. Not much to really be said about this team, but the one team that really is a big outlier compared to the rest is LMV Gaming. LMV Gaming coming into this second Super Weekend, a middling team, and yet started off so strong with 4 top 3s out of 5 games. And even the worst game that they had was a top 5 position, so really not even that bad. And then the day after that, on day 2 Super Weekend, able to get themselves a first win into that event is absolutely insane. So LMV Gaming, absolutely surprising a lot of the competition, and hopefully a lot of you viewers at home when it comes to that second Super Weekend. For Romanian boys, though, a little bit more silent in this Super Weekend itself. Hoping to see a little bit more of them in the third and final Super Weekend and even into the finals. I think For Romanian boys has a lot of potential, but has not been able to really shine through this time around. Now we're going to have to look a little bit more in depth, of course, onto our second page to see how things have been moving around. This is the danger zone for a lot of these teams, so we'll see how things are now going to be painted into perspective. TSC Legends able to finish off strong, with also Team Doom able to get himself towards the top of this page, feeling really comfortable in 9th and 10th place respectively. But now, when you look at this graphic, you can see Conqueror did not qualify in this second week of Super Weekend. That puts them not really in too much danger when it comes to the finals itself, but when you think about the potential money they could have won, that is where things start to get a little bit scary and a little bit unfortunate for this team. So a few Buckaroos will not be going their way. That is unfortunate. Though, what is very fortunate is for the Unicorns of Love. Unicorns indeed are real, seeing this second Super Weekend. With 15 games played totaling 157 points. That is a very strong point average per game. And they had stats that really could contest with the likes of Team Big, Eastern Stars, Game Lords towards the top. So hitting the finals, Unicorns of Love could be one of the teams to absolutely obliterate the rest of the competition, make it into the EMEA Championship and even potentially PMGC. But we'll have to see how that actually works out towards the end. Destiny, another one of the teams that did not qualify in the Super Weekend. They need to make sure they can make it happen this time around to make sure they are safe in the top 16 to head into the finals. And now we're going to go towards the bottom side of the page and see how the bottom 3 teams are doing. Nexus Gaming, Vodafone Giants, SKP team. Goes without saying, these 3 teams need to qualify in the Super Weekend, and that Super Weekend needs to be an absolute banger. So we'll see how things are going to work out for them as we look a little bit more in depth in every single day of the Super Weekend. Now we're going to take a little moment here to focus on our top players of our Super Weekend so far. Super Weekend 1 and Super Weekend 2 combined, and we're going to be able to see that Narvalo OP of Game Lord is still on track to being the potential MVP of this tournament, but the level of competition is very high towards the top, as Alicio MVP is a singular kill away from taking that spot out of the hands of Narvalo OP. We'll see how things are going to be wrapping up in our third Super Weekend, but the one thing that is great to see, Mihi and Beast making it up here in 3rd and 5th place respectively in our top fraggers of the Pmpl in the Super Weekends alone. Mihi and Beast able to get himself a lot of chicken dinners on that 3rd day, of course helps transfer a lot of those potential points into kills, and that is what helped them out be so strong on the battlegrounds. Though towards the bottom, a player that I'm really happy to see making it up here is Mango from Excuse Me. Always this player getting the off angles, setting up his team for success, and off the back of that, of course, transferring a lot of extra points to his team in terms of overall kills. So he has been definitely doing a lot of heavy lifting, and always good to see 3 players of Eastern Stars making up on the top fraggers here. You have Eastern Stars Athis, followed up with Octavian and also Kapahala in those positions. So always good to see that the Eastern Stars, in terms of kills, are always showing up to the party. That's it for our top players, and now we're going to focus on every single day of the Super Weekend a little bit more in detail. Day 1 of our second Super Weekend started off very, and I mean very hot, with some extreme consistency coming out from one team in particular, and that was LMV Gaming. This team coming out from Germany did not really surprise us in the first Super Weekend, really a middling pack team, but when it came to the second Super Weekend, oh man, they showed us what this team was truly made of. Able to get himself 3 top 2s, a top 3 and a top 5, and able to rack up a significant amount of kills every single game. LMV Gaming at the end of that day was able to jump up in 7th place with a total of 153 points, only beginning their launch towards the top to try and contest with the teams in the top 5, even potentially in the top 3. LMV Gaming shown that they are a team not to be messed with. But not only them, don't forget that in this Super Weekend, a team that was finally beginning their Super Weekend action was Unicorns of Love. Though, when you look at their stats after a singular day of play after 5 games, they had 31 total kills and only a total of 8 placement points. Very aggressive when it comes to kills, but in placement points and overall macro mechanics, maybe lacking a little bit, so something to work on. But at the end of the day, with still some really good points to have coming their way and starting their ascent towards the top of the rankings. Now for day 2 of our second Super Weekend. We've got a lot of 2s happening over here, but it was another great day for a team in particular. That was LMV Gaming, finally able to secure themselves a win. We had a few doubts in the first day as if they could potentially close off a game. They made it happen in day 2 over there on Miramar, so really good finish off from LMV Gaming, able to get quite a few kills on top of that also. But at the very start of the day, the most important part was the fact that Dear Sirens were actually able to get himself a big fat W, giving them a little bit of an extra confidence boost I think they desperately needed when you know as a fact that they are in the danger zone towards the bottom and they need to get himself as many points as possible to solidify their position into the finals of this PMPL. Though after that, 2 other teams able to get himself a win. Exquisite Decode UK followed up with TSC Legends. 2 teams that didn't have the flashiest start in this Super Weekend, but it's always good to see them get themselves some points, and especially for TSC Legends as they are trying their best to secure themselves in the middle of the pack to pretty much assure their passage into the finals. So TSC Legends actually improving quite a significant amount in this second Super Weekend. And to wrap it all up, great finish from Unicorns in Love in particular as they get himself a win on the last Erangel game of the day. And we talked about it, right, on the first day, how we wanted to see this team not only get a lot of kills, but potentially more positioning points, which they definitely did deliver in that second day, and we're hoping to do even more in the third day of that Super Weekend. And GK First also becoming the MVP of that day, was an average, really high average of about 2.6 kills a game. Really strong. This is the GK First we want to see in this PMPL Western Europe Season 2, and we're hoping to see a lot more in the games to come. And now third day of our second Super Weekend, and things got real interesting when it comes down to talking about Team Big. They were always a team in the Super Weekend that got himself 0 chicken dinners, getting close to finishing off games, but not quite going the full distance. But oh man, day 3, everything came together big time for Team Big as they're able to get himself 3 wins out of the total 5 games. That is absolutely nuts when you really think about it. And those 3 wins alone allowed them to push himself even higher in the rankings. And because Game Lord and Eastern Stars haven't really had the most flashiest of Super Weekends, they take home first place. End of week 2, Team Big, first place right off the bat, looking so dominant when it comes to finishing off the games in that third day. And I think that not everyone is going to try and mess with them hitting week 3 Super Weekend. Things are going to get real interesting. And not only that, Beast and Mihi put himself so drastically high in the MVP rankings, especially Mihi just getting real close to Narvalo. And we'll see how things can potentially work on that side. Narvalo and Alicia actually to fight for that MVP slot for this entire PMPL Western Europe Season 2. So he definitely don't want to mess with that guy. He might be taking home that extra 1,000 buckaroos for himself at the end of this event. And also, to close off the day, we had a really strong performance from Team Doom. Starting off really strong with an almost chicken dinner, but lost it to Team Big, and actually able to close off a game and get himself a win with 25 points on the last Erangel game of the day. Team Doom, very impressive. Once again, one of those middling teams that shows that they can have some great moments and can contest with the teams at the top. And that was it for our second Super Weekend. And we'll see how things will be working and moving forward in our third and final Super Weekend before the finals.